everybody. I'm so excited to be here. We just came off a wonderful event at the Coral Gables Chamber Women's division of the women's group, which is great. And Dorota, my friend Dorota Lopez, was interviewed, not only interviewed, but she was able to talk about her company. So Dorota, tell us a little bit about the fabulous interview that you had. It was great.
Yes, so it was exciting. So Dorota Lopez with GFD Design Group. I offer architecture and interior design services. And the topic they asked me to speak on was how spaces support you. So we really focused on the home and the office space, just design tips that really can support your life and make life a little bit more enjoyable with interior design tips.
That's great. To me, it was fascinating. So I wanted to ask you, because we've worked a little bit on Florida Day, a lot of other brands and things like that. But I wanted to ask you, what brought you to this place to do the interior design architecture? What is your purpose? What is your why? Because that's kind of what we do when we start branding with a company. Like, we talk with the stakeholders and the owners and try to identify what is their passion, and to identify like what is the strategy, then the pillars and everything like that. So what is yours?
So my favorite part about design is the space planning, because I really think good design can change your life, right? When you have good spaces that support you, design spaces that are designed well, you live a more pleasant life. So really it's about just giving people beautiful spaces, good spaces, functional spaces that make life more enjoyable.
And functional in the sense like everything from, you talked about the lighting was important.
Yep.
How you feel about the lighting, if it's down, up. Also, so important, it's the exterior, the outside. Because I know my house, like you were saying that the children, you want the children as they grow up to have the parties at your house, to have the events at your, whether it's small or large yard, it's great to have that whole family planning as well with the future. So you ask the owners, like, what's your plan in the future, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because your space should transition with you. So families have different dynamics. When you have younger children, you have to use the space differently, right? Playrooms are so much more important. They're more center focused in the house at that time. And then when kids get older, they're on devices, right? So the entertainment space becomes important. It's the family room, maybe a theater room, and even kind of layering that, right? What if you have some company and the kids are watching or playing video games?
Yes.
So even maybe like dividing a house and dividing those entertainment spaces, so both kind of parties the older and the younger can be happy.
I have a question. It's a side question, it's a design question. Do a lot of families have the TVs in the children's? I never allowed my kids to have TVs, so they come out of their rooms, even though they play video games. Whatever.
Yeah, we see both. I would say that 50% of people let their kids have TVs in their rooms, although really kids are getting off of TVs and more on their own individual iPads. So really that iPad's already in the room, right? But we're actually seeing more dedicated spaces for video games. So there could be a video game room, and that's not necessarily a room with a door, right? We still want to make sure mom and dad can have eyes and ears on what the kids are doing. So that dedicated space. And then the other thing is sometimes we just integrate it into the main family room, but kids have very special gaming chairs. So what we do is we don't design around the gaming, but we make sure there's a place that those gaming chairs can be off to the side, so they could be brought out, but then quickly stored away.
I love that. I love that, because it could be a little eye on the eye. So, so as far as
way of saying it,
we talk a lot about branding as far as my area, your area, and how it combines. What do you think is a brand when you work for a business or an interior of an office or a hotel? How important is branding for interior design, and the branding, eventually will proceed into their logo or their kind of corporate branding? How important is it?
I think it's 100% important. And Patsy, I actually have a term for this. It's called marketecture. So when a company hires us and they want to design their space, one of the first things we do is show us your branding. Now, it's very important that we're not kind of making the whole building the branding, right? Because that's too much. But bringing in the colors subtly, right? Beautifully, bringing in textures and fonts like we've talked about. How do we bring in the feeling of the brand, but not overwhelming the client? Because your interior design of your space can actually enhance your branding,
Yeah.
and your branding can inform the interior design. Obviously, this is what you do. You're the expert
Yeah.
in this brand.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you you see spaces that have nothing to do with the brand, and I'm sure you have an opinion on that as well.
What I love when I first meet like a stakeholder, so we'll go with Casa Campo, we go with Hyatt, even we're here at the Thesis Hotel. Like I kind of went through and we take a tour, and then we see how we can incorporate some of the brand. Maybe there's like a texture or something we can incorporate the logo. There's a repetition of the logo as a pattern, or like this particular has a lot of foliage. Do we include some of that, like more of an abstract foliage as the brand's main logo? Now, if you're dealing with with a Hyatt or whatever, they might incorporate some of that branding into like their pieces in the room or in the restaurants for sure. But what I love is when it's like a new hotel, everything new. Then we work with interior designers very closely to see what are those textural boards, what kind of repeated pattern, and how can we incorporate, where we're going to incorporate the logo as a 3D element, and what kind of materials, and then how we could incorporate that as a texture, because it's so great to like experience the brand, at the hotel or the hospitality space, and be able to see that brand and take a piece of it home, and then it goes on to merch and everything. So it's really has the essence starts where the brand starts, and and if you do have a brand already, you guys are great at incorporating that somehow.
And actually, we've also, if a client has a brand that just needs a little bit of a revamp, we start there, and we definitely advise, like, maybe we need to actually start with your colors, your logos, giving it a fresher look, because if you're going to have a new space, you want a whole new feel of the design. And I love just working, the more people I can incorporate in the design process, I love that. So the branding team, the management team, even just focus groups, because that is what makes projects successful.
Yeah, and their team, does their team want to something new and something refresh? And it's always great to refresh, because then lift the brand, because as much as well as the space, because that shows like a launch, and that shows your clients too that you're investing in you yourself as a founder, as an owner, and also into the space, and the people and your own employees and staff feel like, okay, this is great. It's being uplifted. So,
and just one thing on that, we really can help an owner understand where to put the dollars and where to pull it back a little bit, right? You have options, there's ways of layering, we have tons of design tricks. So take the time, speak to branding expert and interior designer, and let them just kind of blow your mind with what they can do with your brand and your space.
A little tip for social media, like if you are doing your brand or repurposing your space or uplifting your space, it's always great to show, even on social media, the start process, because that shows that your clients that something new is coming, or if it's a new building, like show from the ground up, like what is the architect doing? Obviously they do those fast cameras outside to see how it's being built, and all that is great for your social media presence and to gain more followers on social media as well. So,
I love that.
Question: your brand.
Yes.
What are you doing new? I saw some new things on social media, and tell us about your color tones and stuff like that.
So we're a legacy company, and GFD actually stands for Gerald F. DeMarco, who was the founder of our company over 50 years ago. And one of the things that was very important for him was the color palette. Kind of our colors of blue and gray were just his choice. So it's something that we've always wanted to honor. However, it is also something that we have updated. So one of the fun things that we actually recently did is we changed the logo to a dot. And part of our tagline is connecting the dots for you.
Yes.
So just connecting the dots of the process, connecting the dots of the design, connecting all the dots of a very complicated process. So we're really playing with the dot theme and the colors, and then adding a few accent colors that we could use in different formats, right? For our commercial work, we might use certain accent colors that are different than our residential to help, because commercial and residential, it spans so many different just departments that it's sometimes hard for our clients to. So what do you actually do? So we're actually using branding as a way of, if you're in the residential bucket, it's very clear for them, I need to go here. But think about it, residential can be a remodel, it can be an addition, it can be a new house, it can be a multifamily building. We do all of that. So somebody who wants to remodel their bathroom will get a little overwhelmed with, hey, new construction of a home. So we're using our branding to really help people get right into the bucket of the design services that they need. So, we're doing exactly what you preach
great.
every day, and we're
great.
doing it well.
And we do it the same thing for hospitality, because you have your subs, you have your main brand, your umbrella brand, which is your hotel, your hospitality, or let's say a law firm, but then the law firm has like this division. You can kind of give that a special color. Like what color are you choosing for residential? Right? Like,
so residential, we're popping. So our logo is a darker blue, so we're popping it with our lighter blue. That it just kind of pops. It's very friendly. It's very welcoming. And then we use a little bit more of the grays on the commercial side, which are just more of the industrial services that you just have to do.
Yeah, and that's so important, because like hotels, we have like, we have like divisions like the loyalty program, or somebody, for the hotel has like tennis, we gear toward tennis enthusiasts, or spa has a different look versus, but it's all under the umbrella brand, whatever that would be. So this is really great, and I love the furniture. Tell us about that.
Yes. So part of our process is total design, which again, that's a lot of different services, but we are interior designers, so of course we can specify, provide, install furniture. However, what we're doing right now is we're curating our own furniture that is just our design style, right? It's our design aesthetic, it's our design statement, that if it catches your attention, you can come right to us, and then we'll get that furniture ordered for you as well.
Eventually, you got to do a shopping cart.
True.
Shopping cart there, and accessories and everything like that. So,
absolutely.
So more on your branding is going to be developed, and that's great, because you're always launching and thinking and getting us all excited. So we're like, what is she doing now?
I love that. Well, I think that's within any field, right? You have to be on top of the trends. What are the new social media trends? I know that we come to you for that. Like, tell us what the new viral video is, that'll get us viral.
Exactly.
So it's the same way. We have to follow trends. We have to stay on top of things, and we have to stay on top of what people want. Different generations want different design. An older generation that is remodeling a home that they want to pass down to their family is going to do a little bit something more different than a younger couple, with like a brand new newborn. So it's very exciting. You have to kind of be aware of everybody at all times.
Speaking of interior design rebrand, I just went to the Delano that just had a whole interior. I have to send you the pictures. So everything with Delano used to be before like cold marble, very square. Now everything's like rounded, soft tones. So how that changes from organic to organic. So it's very interesting.
And society actually influences. So when we as a society just need a reset, we tend to go cooler colors, straighter lines, but then we have enough of that, right? Like a straight sofa doesn't hug you. It doesn't comfort you, whether in your home or in a commercial lobby space in a hotel. So now we're actually seeing that trend that people just want something cozier. And then we're going to go right back to it. People are going to be like, enough of this softness. We want something a little more.
When I moved to my house, everything was metal, brushed metal, and now everything's brushed gold. So it just changes.
And it comes back. And it comes 100%. Back too.
And so does branding too, because everything was very gray, silver foil stamp. Now everything's gold foil stamp. So you have to follow the trends, and that's very important for everything. But thank you so much. Great time. She's been working all day today, from interview to this interview. So very popular. I love it.
Thank you so
much. All right,
much.
Thank you, Dorota. Great friend.
Thank you, Patsy. Thank you.